Have you ever wondered why humans built cities? At first glance, they seem like the worst places to live. They're crowded, noisy, expensive, and full of problems. Disease spreads faster. Crime becomes more common. Food has to be transported from far away. And yet, today, more than half of humanity chooses to live in cities. Some cities are home to over 30 million people. That raises an extraordinary question. If cities create so many challenges, why did humans keep building them? The answer isn't simply because we wanted to. It's because cities became one of the greatest survival technologies our species has ever invented. Imagine standing on a grassy plain 12,000 years ago. There are no skyscrapers, no roads, no markets, no governments. Small groups of hunter-gatherers move across the landscape, following animals and seasonal plants. If food disappears, they move. If water runs dry, they move again. Their homes are temporary because their lives are temporary. Freedom isn't something they fight for. It's simply the way the world works. Mobility is survival. Staying in one place for too long would often mean starvation. Then, the climate changed. Around the end of the last ice age, temperatures became warmer and more stable. Wild grains began growing in greater abundance. Floods rivers predictably every year. Animals returned to the same watering holes season after season. For the first time in human history, nature offered something it rarely had before: reliability. Some groups realized they no longer needed to chase food across the landscape. Instead, they could grow it. Agriculture wasn't invented overnight, but once people learned to plant seeds and harvest crops, everything changed. Farming produced something hunter-gatherers rarely experienced: surplus. Instead of finding just enough food to survive another day, families could produce enough grain to last an entire year. A surplus meant fewer people needed to spend every waking hour searching for food. Some could become builders. Others became potters, toolmakers, traders, or priests. Human society began specializing. Civilization was quietly being born. As villages expanded, people discovered another powerful advantage of living together. Cooperation became easier. Digging irrigation canals, building storage houses, or defending against attacks required many hands working together. One family couldn't build a massive wall, but hundreds of families could. The larger the community became, the greater its ability to solve problems that no individual could solve alone. One of the earliest places where this transformation occurred was in Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Around 6,000 years ago, a settlement called Uruk grew into what many historians consider the world's first true city. Tens of thousands of people lived within its walls. It had temples, workshops, marketplaces, and administrative buildings. For the first time, strangers who had never met each other interacted every day. Managing such a large population required something entirely new: organized government. Cities didn't simply concentrate people, they concentrated ideas. Imagine a blacksmith improving a farming tool. A nearby farmer immediately benefits. A merchant carries that innovation to another town. A builder copies a new construction technique. Knowledge spreads much faster when people live close together. Every conversation becomes an opportunity for innovation. Every marketplace becomes a place where ideas travel alongside goods. Trade transforms cities into engines of prosperity. Villages might produce enough food to survive, but cities produce something far more valuable: opportunity. Merchants arrived carrying copper, timber, spices, textiles, and precious stones from distant lands. Markets connected people from different cultures, languages, and religions. Every successful trade expanded not only wealth, but also human knowledge. Cities became crossroads where civilizations met one another. But cities also created problems humanity had never faced before. Crowded populations allowed diseases to spread rapidly. Waste accumulated faster than nature could remove it. Fires could destroy entire neighborhoods. Water supplies became contaminated. Suddenly, survival depended not just on finding food, but on engineering, sanitation, and public organization. Every solution created another challenge, yet humans kept building larger cities anyway. Why? Because the benefits consistently outweighed the costs. A city offered protection behind walls. It offered jobs, trade, education, and access to resources impossible to find in isolated villages. Living close together increased the chance of meeting skilled craftsmen, successful merchants, talented teachers, and future partners. Opportunity became concentrated just as much as population. Over time, cities became centers of political power. Kings ruled from palaces built inside them. Laws were written there. Taxes were collected there. Armies were organized there. The city became the brain of civilization, coordinating the activities of millions of people spread across enormous territories. Without cities, empires would have been almost impossible to govern. As centuries passed, new technologies reshaped urban life again and again. Roads connected distant settlements. Aqueducts delivered clean water. Printing presses spread knowledge. Steam engines fueled factories. Railways linked cities together into national economies. Electricity illuminated streets after sunset. Elevators allowed buildings to grow upward instead of outward. Every innovation made cities more attractive, drawing even more people toward them. The Industrial Revolution accelerated this transformation faster than anyone could have imagined. Millions left farms seeking work in factories. Cities expanded at astonishing speed. Some grew so quickly that housing, sanitation, and infrastructure struggled to keep up. Poverty and pollution became serious problems, but economic opportunity continued pulling people toward urban life. The city had become humanity's greatest magnet. Today, cities generate most of the world's economic output while occupying only a tiny fraction of Earth's surface. They are home to universities, hospitals, research laboratories, financial institutions, technology companies, and cultural centers. Almost every major scientific breakthrough, technological innovation, or artistic movement emerges from places where people gather closely together. Density creates possibility. Modern cities face challenges our ancestors never imagined. Traffic congestion wastes millions of hours every day. Housing costs continue rising. Air pollution threatens public health. Climate change increases the risks of flooding and extreme heat. Yet the solution isn't abandoning cities. Instead, humanity is redesigning them. Architects are creating greener buildings. Engineers are developing smarter transportation systems. Urban planners are adding parks, renewable energy, and sustainable infrastructure to prepare cities for the future. Some researchers believe the cities of tomorrow will look dramatically different from those of today. Artificial intelligence may manage traffic in real time. Self-driving vehicles could reduce congestion. Vertical farms may produce food inside skyscrapers. Buildings might generate their own electricity. Entire neighborhoods could become carbon neutral. The city is still evolving, just as it has for thousands of years. When we look back across history, one truth becomes clear. Humans didn't build cities because cities were perfect. We built them because they allowed millions of strangers to cooperate toward shared goals. Cities transformed isolated families into connected societies. They turned survival into innovation. They accelerated science, culture, trade, and technology. Every modern convenience, from the smartphone in your pocket to the medicine in your cabinet, depends on systems that cities helped create. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden inside the history of cities. A city is not simply a collection of buildings, it is a machine for cooperation. It allows people who will never meet each other to work together across generations, creating achievements no individual could accomplish alone. From the first mud brick streets of ancient Uruk to the towering skylines of today, cities have always reflected humanity's greatest strength, our ability to build a future together.